What's up, Fire Nation? Back again with another video. Today we're gonna be watching What If Mace Windu Trained Anakin. I'm not gonna be playing the whole video, but if you want to watch the whole video, the link will be in the description. Like and subscribe if you're new. Let's get into it.
What if Mace Windu trained Anakin? In The Phantom Menace, we witnessed Qui-Gon's death and
Jesus is loud.
Promised that he'd train Anakin himself in the ways of the Force. Over the next 13 years, Obi-Wan took it upon himself to teach him everything that he knew, and over time, the two became almost like brothers, until eventually Anakin fell to the dark side. But what if things were different? What if Mace Windu was the one to train Anakin instead of Obi-Wan?
Okay, tight shit.
That's exactly what we'll be diving.
Alright, so what I'm gonna say from what I think, alright, before we watch this video, I think if Mace Windu trained Anakin, Anakin would have like a purple lightsaber too, bruh, and like he would understand the dark side and the light side, bruh, and Anakin would have been like, and he would have never killed Mace Windu when they found Palpatine. They would have killed Palpatine, bruh. I think Obi-Wan was the worst teacher for Anakin Skywalker. Just saying, that's a hot take for another day.
So let's get right into it. Our story begins just days after Qui-Gon's death, where Obi-Wan went to go speak with Grandmaster Yoda. He met with Yoda to not only discuss the events of what just happened on Naboo, but also to speak about the future of Anakin Skywalker. Back on Naboo, Qui-Gon made Obi-Wan promise to him that he would train Anakin, and although Obi-Wan had his doubts about the boy, he was determined to keep his promise no matter what. However, this is where our story is different from the original. As Obi-Wan told Yoda that he intended to train Anakin, Yoda said,
"Confer on you a level of Jedi Knight. The Council does."
Yoda sighed.
"But deciding about this boy's future, the Council has already. A master, he already has, Obi-Wan."
He already has a master. But Master Yoda, I promised Qui-Gon that—
"Too young and inexperienced you are, Obi-Wan."
I'm not gonna be pausing it. We're only a minute in, but hear me out, okay? Hear me out, okay? I think Obi-Wan rushed to be a master just to teach Anakin. I don't even think Obi-Wan was a real... Never mind. Let me stop talking. Let's watch the video before niggas start yeah, let's...
A master that can control his growing darkness.
But then, who is this master?
Master Windu.
Later that evening, Qui-Gon's funeral was held, and it was there where he was honored on a funeral pyre. As the room was filled with sadness and sorrow, many missed the great man that Qui-Gon Jinn was, especially one individual, Anakin Skywalker. Although he had just recently met Qui-Gon, during that short time, he already saw him as sort of like the father that he never had. For years, it's always been just him and his mother, but in a way, Qui-Gon made him feel warm inside, and even more than that, he made him feel important. It was always Anakin's dream to become a Jedi, and Qui-Gon was the one who helped make that dream come true by believing in him. As the funeral came to a close, everyone started to head their separate ways, but when...
I would crash out for Padme too, okay? I would have went to the dark side to say Padme too, I'm just saying.
Skywalker, it's unheard of that a boy as late as your age starts their training as a Jedi. And there's a good reason for that. Attachments, jealousy, greed. These were all emotions that can be developed when spending time outside the walls of the temple. And it's very crucial for a Jedi's life that these emotions never control them. That leads to a path down the dark side.
I understand.
As your master, I'm going to teach you how to harness these emotions and use them for good. If you listen to me and follow my teachings, I'll make you a great Jedi. That I can guarantee. But it's not going to be easy. Just like how I trained my previous Padawan, our training sessions will be more intense,
was it?
More disciplined than what other teachers do with their students.
It could have been.
If you're willing to endure that,
Sith Lord,
then the reward will be beyond greater than you could imagine.
Anyways,
I'm ready, sir.
Good. We begin early in the morning tomorrow. I'll see you then.
From there, Windu and Anakin were about to go their separate ways, but as Windu started to walk away, Anakin spoke up.
Master Windu, sir?
Yes, Skywalker?
I'm sorry for being such a problem.
No need to apologize. Just be ready first thing tomorrow.
During the early years of Windu and Anakin's training together, the two clashed heads a lot and had many conflicting feelings towards one another. Early on, Windu would resent Anakin for being known as a chosen one, since before Anakin came along, he was known as the most powerful Jedi and was also the youngest member to ever be on the council. However, as time passed and he spent more time teaching Anakin, he was able to put aside his pride and learn how to focus on his duties as a master instead. Unlike his previous Padawan, Depa Billaba, teaching Anakin was a lot more difficult, mainly because of his late start to the Order and the attachment that he still had to his mother. But with all the hard training Windu put him through, Anakin was eventually able to overcome these challenges. However, although Windu was extremely tough on Anakin, he did something that nobody would have ever expected. To help Anakin transition away from his attachments, Windu would take it upon himself by traveling each year to Tatooine all on his own. He would go by himself to make sure that his mother was safe and was taken care of over there. Just months after Anakin left to become a Jedi, his mother married a man named Klieg Lars, and so Windu would visit their home once a year and develop a good relationship with both his mother and her new family. During his visits, he also went on—
Wait, so you're telling me, right? Hear me out. Instead of Anakin going to save his mother, it was Mace Windu? Is that what we saying? Or are we saying that Mace Windu was protecting her so she didn't get captured, so Anakin didn't watch his mom die? Or are you saying
out of his way to make sure that she was protected? So to do that, he even made peaceful negotiations with the Tusken Raiders there. That way, no harm would ever come to her.
I fucking knew it. This nigga was making sure that nothing happened to her, so Anakin wouldn't go to the dark side. I have no reason to. That make a lot of sense. But who was fighting Count Dooku? Was it Mace Windu and him? Did they fight him yet? Or did Count Dooku not want to mess with Mace Windu because you know what I'm saying? And what happened to Obi-Wan? Does Obi-Wan go with Ahsoka? And what happens to Ahsoka when Anakin becomes a master? And does he become a master because of Ahsoka? Or does he become a guardian like they showed us? He gets a yellow lightsaber instead. I'm just yapping, but still, you catch what I'm picking. Okay, hold on. We gonna
or
keep
the
watching.
Lars
Hold on.
family.
Hold
Although
on.
Anakin wanted to go see her himself, Windu refused to allow that, only so that he'd master the ability of letting go of his attachments. At first, it was hard for Anakin to understand this, but with time and patience, he learned why he couldn't, and over time, he started to let go of the attachments that he had in his life. Originally, it was hard because not only was he attached to his mother, but for a while, he had strong feelings for Padme Amidala. Ever since the two met, Anakin would just daydream of her, since all he wanted to do was be with her. But under Windu's training, he was able to come to terms that attachments like this would only lead him down a dark path. However, not only would Windu explain to Anakin why attachments were forbidden, but he'd also show him why. At times, he would bring Anakin to the Jedi archives with him and show him stories about what happened to previous Jedi that let attachments get the best of them.
Count Dooku. Who else? It's Count Dooku. That's the only one I can think of right now.
These stories horrified Anakin growing up, especially after reading that a lot of them fell to the dark side. So, over time, he was able to let go of these strong feelings and was able to come to terms that the relationship with him and Senator Amidala was strictly professional. Although it took time.
He didn't even get with Padme. Hold on. This nigga didn't watch his mom die. This nigga didn't get with Padme, so Luke and Leia were never a thing. Damn. Okay. Hold on.
To accept it, he was able to overcome these emotions, and eventually he was able to only focus purely on his duties and training as a Jedi. However, even though he was able to let go of his attachments, Windu knew that Anakin still struggled with inner conflict, regardless if he admitted it or not. So, instead of resenting him for it, he taught him how to use his emotions for good, which is where something called Vapad came into place. Because of Anakin's conflict, Windu taught him a lightsaber fighting style called Vapad, but it was way more than just a fighting technique. Vapad was a state of mind more than anything, and it allowed a user to harness their inner darkness and use it as a weapon of the light side. Since this form required a user to call upon their darkness, the rest of the Jedi Council didn't like the idea that Windu was teaching this to Anakin. To them, they saw the form as dangerous, and if not used the right way, it could lead Anakin down the dark side for good. However, although Windu agreed with them, he believed that it would benefit Anakin in more ways than not, and well, he ended up being right. Over time, Anakin proved that he was able to master this style, and as a result, he had become a much more balanced and more powerful Jedi than anybody ever imagined. Just like his master, Anakin wielded a purple lightsaber, which represented his ability to channel his inner darkness, all while using it for good. This surprised Windu at first, because for years, he was the only one in the Order to wield this color. But just like in many other ways, Anakin kept surprising him more and more as the years went on.
We still got 10 minutes. So what the fuck happened in that 10 minutes? Because this sounds too good to be true. I'm letting y'all know now. Bruh, this video could have ended right there, that's it, but we got 10 minutes, so what happened to Anakin? That's the good question, bruh.
And responsible Jedi, and Windu couldn't be more proud of him. Now with the Clone Wars coming to an end, the two were determined to end this war by any means possible. But there was one big issue. During this time, Anakin experienced something he hadn't ever dealt with before. Nightmares. In these nightmares, he witnessed something horrifying, something that struck him to his core.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. No, if Anakin still goes bad while under Mace Windu, I'm about to crash out, bro. There's no way. There's absolutely no way that this nigga still goes bad after being under Mace Windu. There's no way.
In them was his master Mace Windu, killing his own mother with his lightsaber. Although it terrified Anakin at first, he tried to remember Windu's teachings and that dreams come and pass, and to never focus too much on them as it could only cause unnecessary fear. However, there was one problem. Over the next few days, the same dream kept reappearing, almost as if it was a reality. Although he was able to ignore it at first, the thought of losing his mother started to creep up on him, especially if his own master was responsible for it. For so long, he was able to let go of his attachment to his mother, but now he felt worried and sick to his stomach. Was she okay, he thought to himself? Anakin needed answers, but he knew he couldn't go to his master about it because what if it was true? What if his master already killed his mother on Tatooine the last time he visited? Or what if it'll happen in the future? Anakin paused. He took a deep breath and focused on Windu's teachings. He wasn't going to let his anxieties get the best of him. He just couldn't. So, Anakin took a moment to meditate, and after a lot of thought, he decided that he should go and speak to somebody about this. However, since he felt he couldn't go to his master about this situation, he went to the next person closest to him, Chancellor Palpatine.
Oh my God, of course. My brain. If this nigga end up killing Mace Windu and he still go, this shit good. Hold on. This shit good, but hell no.
Ever wonder why the Jedi never let you see your mother?
Well, from what Master Windu said, attachments can lead to the dark side. I'm very grateful for his teachings, since it's only made me a better Jedi.
Well, it makes you wonder why he was always making those trips in the first place. He doesn't trust you, Anakin. If he did, he would have gladly brought you along with him.
Yes, but he only ever wants what's best for me. He only ever looked out for my mother and made sure she was safe.
That's what he told you, but have you ever seen proof that she's safe?
No, but...
I'd be careful, Anakin. Your nightmares might be telling you something.
Anakin took a pause. No, he thought to himself. Master Windu? He would never...
Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
No.
I thought not. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you. It's a Sith legend.
Sith legend, Anakin thought to himself? How would Chancellor Palpatine know about a Sith legend? As Palpatine then shared the story, he revealed to Anakin that Plagueis was a Dark Lord of the Sith who could save the ones he cared about from dying. However, as Palpatine was explaining this, Anakin felt cold inside. Something felt off. He felt a dark presence about the Chancellor that he never really felt until now. Something dark. Something sinister.
All I'm saying is, you better go take Mace Windu. Mace Windu better show you your mama. And after that, y'all go take his head the hell off. That's all I'm saying. This nigga better die. Right then and there. Because
although it was hard, Anakin knew he had to put his nightmares aside for now. Whatever the actual truth was, he'll figure that out later. For now, all that mattered was that this Sith Lord had to be stopped. So, Anakin went to go see Master Windu, and it was there where he broke the news to him. He explained to Windu that Palpatine was the Sith Lord they've been looking for, and that he's been trained to use the dark side. However, during this talk, Anakin purposely didn't mention the nightmares he had. At that moment, he tried to put his personal feelings aside, as the only important task right now was stopping Palpatine. As Windu stood there shocked after hearing this news, he said,
"It seems our worst fears have been realized. Come on, Skywalker. We must move quickly if the Jedi order is to survive."
Master, the Chancellor is very powerful. You'll need my help if you're going to arrest him.
Which is exactly why you're coming with me. I've trained you well enough to know that we can take these matters into our own hands together. I've just received news that Obi-Wan has defeated Grievous on Utapau. Since we both defeated Count Dooku earlier, it seems that the Chancellor is the only last remaining piece to end this war once and for all.
See, they didn't talk about the Count Dooku fight. He didn't talk about the Count Dooku fight, right? So, Obi-Wan didn't want Anakin to kill Count Dooku. I'm guessing Mace Windu said, have at it, off this nigga.
Skywalker, whatever happens, do not let his words deceive you. I don't know what he's told you already, but the Sith are not to be trusted. He'll do anything he possibly can to have an apprentice like you by his side.
You don't need to worry, Master. I think it's time I put all that training of yours to good use.
Windu nodded his head. The two then set off for the Chancellor's office. As Anakin and Windu arrive, Palpatine turned from his chair.
Master Windu, I take it General Grievous has been destroyed then? I must say you're here sooner than expected.
Skywalker here told me everything. In the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you are under arrest, Chancellor.
Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?
The Senate will decide your fate.
I am the Senate.
Not yet.
You make a grave mistake, Master Windu. Arrest me and Skywalker will never be able to save his precious mother. He needs me more than you know.
Windu looked at Anakin.
What is he talking about, Skywalker?
Oh, you didn't tell your master about your nightmares, and how you couldn't even trust him enough to go to him.
Windu looked stunned.
Skywalker?
Oh, Master Windu, why don't you explain to your apprentice what you plan to do to his mother? Or is she already dead?
Master, ignore him. It's just like you said. You can't trust anything that a Sith Lord says.
Windu nodded his head.
You make a grave mistake, boy. This time wasted could be precious time you could be spending to save your...
Enough! I have had it with this
Skywalker. Language.
Hey! Hey!
But Master, you taught me that.
Not now, Skywalker. Let's arrest him and take care of this together.
Anakin nodded his head, and the two Jedi ignited their purple lightsabers.
It's treason, then.
Palpatine then ignited his red saber and leaped towards Windu and Anakin. It was now a duel for the fate of the galaxy between the lone Sith Lord up against the two Jedi. As the three clashed lightsabers, Palpatine had a counter against everything. However, if he was going to win, he needed to get one of them out of the fight. So he quickly did a backflip and unleashed a bolt of Force lightning right at Windu, knocking him to the ground. With Windu now on the floor, Palpatine realized that he had to take advantage of this moment. So he went in to attack Anakin, and the two were in a 1v1 duel. Their two sabers went back and forth, however, by Anakin using Vapad to his advantage.
That's funny that Palpatine is literally sitting right there and this nigga is actually fighting Count Dooku, but anyway.
He was able to overwhelm Palpatine. As the two clashed, Palpatine was shocked to realize that he was no match for Anakin's strength in the Force and his skills as a warrior. He thought to himself, was this all because of Windu's training? Then, in a highly calculated move, Anakin kicked Palpatine's saber out of his hands and brought him right to the ground. As he did, he then pointed his saber at Palpatine and said,
It's over, Sith Lord. Surrender.
Anakin looked at Palpatine, then looked over at Windu, who was still struggling on the ground.
Well done, my boy.
Enough.
Skywalker, if you kill me, your mother dies. You know it, don't you?
Anakin was deep in thought. He tried remembering Windu's teachings and how fear always led down the dark side. But for a brief moment, his thoughts shifted. Was the Chancellor right? Did he actually have the power to save her? No, what was he thinking? He couldn't listen to him.
If you will not join me, then you will be destroyed!
Palpatine then sent out a barrage of Force lightning right at Anakin, who struggled to block it with his saber. As he did this, lightning was bouncing onto Palpatine's face, and before he knew it, his face started to melt. However, Anakin couldn't last much longer like this. The Chancellor was too powerful. Then out of nowhere, he heard his master's voice.
Skywalker!
As Windu was still struggling on the floor, he quickly threw Anakin his saber. So for a brief second, Anakin let one of his hands go and used the Force to catch it in the air. Then he used both sabers to block Palpatine's lightning, and as he got closer and closer, he overwhelmed the Chancellor enough to then... Using both sabers, Anakin stabbed Palpatine right
That's my boy. That's my boy.
through his chest. It was over. Chancellor Palpatine was dead.
Hold on,
The council
Anakin.
expected these two sabers, balance had been restored to the galaxy. Anakin had really done it. However, his focus quickly shifted when he saw his master still laying on the ground.
Master, are you alright?
I'm okay, Skywalker. Don't worry about me.
Okay, Master, but let me help you.
Skywalker, you did it. You brought balance to the Force.
For so long, Mace always believed that he was the chosen one, and for a while it was hard for him to accept that Anakin was the prophesized one instead. But now it all made sense to him. His destiny wasn't to be the chosen one himself, but to bring balance through his teachings. By teaching Anakin everything he knew, he put aside his selfish needs and instead did what was best for the galaxy. Although he didn't know it at the time, that was the best decision he could have ever made. Windu couldn't be more proud of his apprentice.
Thank you, Master. I owe it to you.
Windu smiled.
Now, let's get out of here, yeah?
2 days had passed since the events of Palpatine's death, and peace had been restored to the galaxy. Over these past days, Anakin's nightmares were no longer appearing, which made him conclude that this must have been Palpatine's doing the entire time. He must have been so strong in the dark side that he was able to manipulate his dreams to make him see those horrible things. However, despite his dreams being gone, he was still worried about his mother and still had doubts if she was okay or not. Unfortunately though, these thoughts would have to wait, as before Anakin knew it, a Jedi Council meeting was held and he was asked to attend. Although Anakin wasn't a council member himself, he was still invited to this hearing, which made him feel honored. During the meeting, Windu went into great depths about what happened that night in the Chancellor's office and how he was the Sith Lord they've been looking for this whole time. This shocked the council members, but they were relieved in a way because that meant that the war had now come to a close. However, as Windu kept speaking, he then brought up the next topic, Anakin Skywalker. He shared with the council that if it weren't for Anakin's heroic actions, he wouldn't be standing here right now, and that it should be him taking the credit for this victory over the Sith. Out of all people, this shocked Yoda the most, since he knew Windu ever since he was a small boy, and he knew how much pride he had. The fact that Windu let all that go for the sake of his apprentice and the galaxy really impressed him. So that's when Yoda spoke up.
Young Skywalker, right Qui-Gon was about you. Brought balance to the Force you did. The prophecy you fulfilled.
Yoda and Mace Windu then looked at one another, and as they did, they both nodded their heads.
Ready for the next step as a Jedi, are you?
Whatever is required of me, Master Yoda.
Good. Offer you a seat on the Jedi Council and grant you the rank of Master. We do.
Him? A master? And a Jedi Council member? Anakin couldn't believe the words he just heard. He always wanted this more than ever, and now his dream was finally coming true? Anakin looked over at Master Windu and the two smiled at each other. Although it was a bumpy road at times, he was so grateful for his master, because without his teachings, none of this would have ever happened.
Thank you, Master Yoda. I am honored.
Yoda nodded his head.
It won't be easy. There are challenges and great responsibilities that come as a Jedi
So when the fuck does Ahsoka come in? Like, what's going on, bruh?
Council member. But you've proven to us that you're among the best of us, Skywalker. We're all proud of you.
Anakin smiled. As the meeting came to a close, many of the council members left the chambers, but Windu asked Anakin to stay.
Skywalker, I need to leave on a mission.
Already? The war is over, though. Where do you have to go?
This isn't like any other mission, and you're actually coming with me this time.
Where are we going?
Windu smiled.
To see your mother.
Really?
You heard me. Now come along. We don't have all day. She misses you.
From there, the two then set off for Tatooine, and once they arrived, Anakin's fears, anxieties, and worries were all put to rest. It was right there and then where he was reunited with his mother again, and as soon as the two saw each other, they embraced each other so tightly. For days, Anakin was so worried about her, but just seeing her safe and happy made him feel so relieved. Although these past few days were hard for him, Anakin was so grateful for Master Windu in his life. If it weren't for his teachings, who knows what would have happened? Anakin might have been manipulated, and he might have fallen to the dark side forever if it weren't for Windu. So, after some time on Tatooine, the two were about to depart back to Coruscant, but then Anakin took a moment to speak with his master.
Master, I don't know what to say. Thank you. Thank you for this.
No need to thank me. Skywalker, the only reason I never let you return back to see your mother was to protect you. To protect you from the emotions that can lead down to the dark side. Not only have you proven that you've mastered these emotions, but you've also used them for good. You're a far greater Jedi than I ever will be, Skywalker. You did what nobody believed you could do. You brought balance to the Force.
Thank you, Master.
Now, our work doesn't stop here, however.
What's next?
Master Yoda just contacted me. We have received multiple reports about a newly formed crime syndicate called the Crimson Dawn, hiding in the lower levels of Coruscant. Although they're not a threat as of right now, they have a potential to be if their numbers rise in power. From what I'm hearing, this syndicate is under the leadership of former Sith Lord Darth Maul.
Master, do I have permission to say it?
You're a Jedi Master now. You have all the freedom and...
I have had it with all of these motherfucking threats in this motherfucking galaxy.
You know what? You know what? The video was good until that bullshit. I don't know what the fuck just happened. That is crazy, bro.